Hey everybody, it's William McComb, your friendly neighborhood social worker and chemical dependency counselor, back again with another video in our ongoing mission to provide education, support, and hope to our clients, their families, and the YouTube community at large. Today we're going to go over a famous experiment in psychology and social science known as the Stanford Marshmallow Experiment. Now, we come to this topic because in groups over the last number of weeks, we've been talking about the idea of an addictive personality. In other words, it's just traits in our personality traits that lend themselves to developing substance use disorders or addictions, process addictions, unhealthy relationships with food or sex, drugs, gambling, that sort of thing. The most common traits that I heard mentioned, over and over again, were things like feeling impulsive or being compulsive, not being able to weigh the consequences of our actions, things of that nature, being more oriented towards instant gratification versus delayed gratification. And that instant versus delayed gratification is specifically what the Stanford Marshmallow Experiment was attempting to study. Now, I'll give a little bit of background and then we're going to show some of the video from this so that you can see it for yourself. But in the Stanford Marshmallow Experiment, what they did was they brought these kids in, 4, 5, 6 years old, kindergarten age kids, and they sit them at a table and they give them a marshmallow, a delicious, large, roasting, squishy marshmallow. And they tell them, hey, this one's yours. You can do with it what you want, eat it, whatever. But if you wait, I'll be back in a little bit and I'll give you 2. Now everybody knows 2 is better than 1, but the researcher leaves the kid there to just stare at the marshmallow in front of them. Now, what do you think happened? If you have kids of your own or you were a child once, what do you think happens when you put the marshmallow in front of them and give them that scenario? Well, let's roll the tape and look at it, and then I'll be back on the back end to give you some more of my comments and wrap up.
Okay, sit in that chair. All right, here's the deal. Marshmallow for you. You can either wait, and I'll give you another one if you wait, or you can eat it now. When I come back, I'll give you another one, so then you'll have 2. All right, so I'm gonna leave and then I'll come back, okay? So you can either eat it right now or you can wait. Either way, okay? Okay. Did you do good? You did?
Yeah.
You wanted to eat it, didn't you? Yeah. So did I tell you to give you another one? Okay, now you can have both. You need them.
So were you right? I mean, did you guess correctly if they would eat it or not? Well, what's interesting is, a lot of them obviously ate it, but they all tried so hard. I mean, they were eating around the corners and licking it. One was like praying to the ceiling. It was painful for them to go through that process. Some of them, however, were able to wait at an early age. They were able to delay gratification because they wanted a second marshmallow. The thing that's really interesting about the Stanford Marshmallow Experiment to me is that they followed these kids throughout their life. This study was done in the early 70s, so these are middle-aged people now, but they checked in with them at various points in their life and measured. They wanted to measure the impact of this ability to delay gratification. And the kids that were able to wait for the second marshmallow as they grew were on average had higher SAT scores, generally better grades. They were at higher education levels. They were less likely to be obese. They had better health, were more likely to be in committed relationships, all sorts of indicators of what we would consider success. And so this is a really important quality to try to cultivate. And when you have developed a lifestyle that kind of lends itself to the instant gratification, it's a difficult thing to change, but not impossible. You look at the Stanford experiment, and what's really neat about these types of experiments, they lay the groundwork for future researchers to come in and build upon that knowledge base. And this one is no exception. There's one in particular that I think is really interesting. I'm going to leave in the description the Wikipedia to the Stanford Marshmallow Experiment. That way you can link off if you want to read more about these other studies and get some more insight. But one in particular that I found really interesting is they took the kids and they split them into two groups. And in one group, they broke promises to them. Okay, so the second, like waiting for the reward, never came. In that case, they said, hey, here's a little box of crayons, but if you wait, I'm going to bring a big box of crayons. The big box of crayons never comes. They give them a couple of little stickers and say, but if you wait, I'm going to bring in much better stickers. And the much better stickers never arrive. They do the same thing with the other group, but they keep the promise. The bigger crayons and the better stickers do arrive. And then they run the marshmallow experiment. And what's fascinating is that they found that the kids that had the promises broken to them were more likely to just go for the instant gratification because there's no history or no sense that second reward or that better outcome is coming. But the kids where the promises were kept, where the consistency was there, were much more likely to wait for the second marshmallow. And so to me, this is very good news for people who may be trying to change or modify their behavior and change this personality trait that we associate with our addictive personality. You look at the lifestyle of addiction or the person in the middle of a substance use disorder, and it becomes very much, hand-to-mouth existence for a lot of people. And instead of, maybe dealing with emotions or complex things that would take, weeks, months, years to resolve, we do the drugs, take the instant way out, or, we get involved with, unhealthy eating or what have you. So how could we maybe do that? Well, if you can set yourself up to see the success, it's why we do the treatment planning in part. We set goals, we hold each other accountable to those goals, and we see the success. Then we set a new goal and we repeat. And over time, you get to know that waiting for the better outcome or working through your problem as opposed to just settling for the drugs or the food or the gambling or whatever is a much better choice that has a real reward and benefit that does in fact materialize. So if you're looking to change personality trait, it's not an impossible thing to do, and these studies show just that. So that is the Stanford Marshmallow Experiment and a brief look into personality traits that we associate with addiction and substance use disorders in particular. I look forward to your comments below. Also, remember to check the link in the description so that you can get a little bit more detail and also be linked to those additional studies, again, which are so fascinating. But until next time, take care and be well.